Today, we're diving into a really huge shift in how network problems get solved. We're talking about moving away from those stressful late-night firefights and into a new era of, well, AI-powered foresight. Let's dig into what that actually means. To really get why this change is so massive, we have to start with a scene that is probably way too familiar for anyone who's ever worked in IT ops. It's that classic, dreaded 2 a.m. fire drill. You know the feeling. The pager goes off, jolts you out of a deep sleep. And no, it's not a drill. A critical service is failing, users are getting locked out, and you're the sleepy site reliability engineer who's suddenly on the clock. The pressure is on, and your brain is still trying to figure out what year it is. And get this, research actually shows it takes the average person about 22 minutes just to go from being asleep to being cognitively productive. That's almost half an hour before your brain is even firing on all cylinders, all while the system is down and the clock is ticking. And every single one of those minutes has a very real and very high price tag. We're talking about thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars lost for every minute that service is offline. So yeah, the stakes could not be higher. And this right here is the heart of the matter. The old way is this mad scramble, right? You're jumping into command line interfaces, you're reacting, trying to find one tiny clue in a mountain of noisy data. It can literally take hours. The new way, the AI-assisted way, is all about proactively connecting the dots, finding that signal in the noise, and getting to an answer in minutes. So why is that old, reactive way just not cutting it anymore? Well, the fundamental problem is the insane scale of data we're dealing with today. We are, to put it mildly, drowning in it. Seriously, think of it like trying to drink from a fire hose of information. Every single device, every app, every user click generates logs, metrics, traces, all of this telemetry data. Trying to sift through that manually isn't just difficult, it's pretty much become impossible for a human to do. So the obvious question is, right? Okay, if humans can't handle the data fire hose, why not just point it at a big AI model? Dump it all into an LLM and just ask it for the answer. It sounds like a perfect solution, but it is a massive trap. Because when you do that, you end up in a place that experts have a great name for: Hallucination City. The AI gets overwhelmed by all this unrelated noise, and it just starts making stuff up. It fabricates connections that are completely imaginary. And here's the absolute key to understanding why. Large language models, LLMs, are built to predict the next plausible word. They are storytellers, not fact-checkers. So they will confidently stitch together a few random coincidences into a neat, tidy story that sounds totally right but is completely wrong. Okay, so if we can't just brute force the problem by dumping data, what's the right way to do this? Well, it's about changing how we think about AI. It's not a magic 8-ball, it's a high-speed evidence gatherer, a smart, structured partner in the investigation. This diagram shows that smarter approach, what we often call AI ops. It's a structured pipeline. See, on the left, it starts by collecting very specific, relevant data, network telemetry, logs, things with context. Only after that, in the middle, does the AI do its work to correlate those specific signals. And then finally on the right, it presents the findings for a human to act on. It's deliberate, it's focused, it's not just a data dump. All right, let's make this real with a quick case study. Imagine users are complaining about that classic frustrating mystery: random, intermittent slowness on the network. The worst kind of problem. Instantly, in milliseconds, the AI starts gathering evidence from all over the place. It's looking at interface counters for traffic rates, it's checking TCP metrics for retransmissions, it's watching CPU health for any weird spikes, and it's digging into flow data to see exactly who is talking to who. It pulls all of this in at once. And here is where the magic happens. The correlation engine finds the common thread. It sees three things that look totally unrelated to a human. First, a syslog message about a BGP routing change. Okay, at the same time, telemetry shows a CPU spike on a core switch. And finally, flow data shows that a massive backup job just kicked off from a server. Trying to connect those three dots at 2 a.m. under pressure? Good luck. But the AI delivers its conclusion with surgical precision. It says, look, this is not a hardware failure. It's a perfect storm. The huge backup job was hitting a specific policy on the switch that maxed out the CPU, all at the exact moment the network path was changing. That level of insight in seconds is an absolute game changer. But, finding the problem is really only half the battle. The next critical step is turning that incredible insight into effective action. And this is where the AI continues to be a powerful assistant. It empowers the engineer in 4 really concrete ways. First, it doesn't just say, "Trust me." It gives you the steps to validate its own findings. Then it generates a runbook, basically a recipe to fix the problem. It can even turn that recipe into ready-to-use automation scripts. And finally, when it's all over, it writes up the incident report for you. It's augmenting the engineer's skills, not replacing them. So what this all adds up to is a really fundamental change in the whole relationship between engineers and their tools. It's this new kind of partnership. It's a human plus AI superpower. And the ultimate result for the business is a huge drop in one of the most important metrics out there, MTTR. That stands for mean time to repair. It's the average time it takes to fix something once it breaks, and in the world of IT, making that number smaller is everything. It saves time, it saves money, and man, does it save a lot of stress. And just so we're all on the same page, that metric, MTTR, is the key performance indicator for basically any operations team on the planet. The goal is always to drive that number down, and this new approach is how you do it. So look, this isn't about AI coming in and replacing human experts. Not at all. It's about augmenting that expertise with speed and scale and insight that we just couldn't imagine before. It's about giving your team a genuine superpower. The only question left is your team ready to use it?